This week's episode is sponsored by Helio Gas Detection and Rising Suns, the award-winning brewery in Cork.
Hey everybody, this is Richie from the Metal Cell podcast. I want to give a shout out to our guests. We've got Crossfire. We've got Crossfire in the studio with me. I've got Dan, Matt and Conor, and I have Joe from Gamma Bomb on co-host duties tonight. Thanks for joining me, lads.
Cheers, Richie.
Cheers, Richie.
Thanks for having us, bud.
It's great to have you on. There's plenty to cover. First of all, the big build up to the album release. Although when this comes out, the album will be out, and you'd be after doing the launch gig as well. So congratulations on a fantastic launch gig and an album, lads. Well,
cheers, Richie.
It was great. No one was set on fire. Everything went smoothly. Jeez,
points were had.
and riots again in Dublin because of it. Fair fucksy, lads. No, it's great. Thanks for sending it on to me. It's a fucking, everybody knows how much I love thrash anyway. So man, fucking repping the scene in Ireland. It's brilliant. Great release. It's been a long time coming as well. I presume you'd all agree with that.
Yeah, a very, very long time coming.
Partially our own fault, and then partially, as I said, we get into, but
COVID.
if it weren't for the big C, and it's such a relief now because there's such a build up between recording and then not being able to record and then doing it a different way. So, but it means that when it comes out now, or now that it's out already, it's all the sweeter.
Yes, it is indeed, and there was a nice build up of gigs to this event as well. I want to talk about the Siege in particular. I was front and center watching you play that. I had just a big smile on my face. It was great to see you down there, lads.
Yeah, it's been a good few years since we were down there. Yeah, but it always is. It's always deadly to play.
2018, CJ, the last time. I think it was
2016.
2016.
Wow.
It was 2016, but we were lucky enough that we were able to play with Centrix in Dolan's March of this year.
Yeah.
So we were talking to John. It's like, come on, it's been too long. And in fairness, he said straight away, we'll have yous. And he gave us a nice, good slot. And hopefully it's more. Yeah, hopefully it's not another 6 years by the time we're back.
Yeah. And how were you able to gauge the reaction of the crowd? There was plenty loving it from my side, anyway.
The crowd at Siege is always savage, and we were kind of nervous as in we knew. I think we were the last band on the upstairs stage, which I was delighted by in the way that the upstairs stage for me is my favorite stage. There's plenty of space, but it's not kind of too roomy like the warehouse. I think the sound upstairs is amazing, and I think we were kind of like a wee bit nervous because we knew that we were clashing with Roper, who are great, and also the local legends making their comeback. So it's like, look, we'll see what the crack is. We have our set. We're gonna play it. We're gonna have fun either way. And the crowd was big crowd, good crowd, loud crowd. Happy days.
Yeah, and sure, look, you know what? There was fucking so many brilliant bands that day that suited me personally. Like Saint Slaughter really got the fucking place up and running with that performance. It was fucking class. Like,
yeah, they always do though. They're a great band.
Yeah, what were you saying, Matt?
Jeff is just an insane guitar player. When you're looking at him, like, it's just like, oh my god.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, I can't believe I have to follow you.
And poor Lawrence wearing the Ghostface outfit.
I know, wasn't it fucking so good, man? He kept it right throughout the gig, like.
I think at one stage I was trying to convince the lads to get some sort of Halloween get-up going, and I don't think I would have been convinced them either way, but then I'm thinking drumming for 40-45 minutes and sweat. No, but he actually did. I don't know how he lasted as long as he did. Fair play.
Well, he was wearing it all day as well. I'd say he was melting in it.
Like wearing 3 leather jackets or something.
Yeah. And then just seeing Gamma Bomb then main stage, lads, Jesus, like, just didn't get any better really, did it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I only caught first 2 Gamma Bomb songs, 3 Gamma Bomb songs, then I had to fucking go.
I think I was there for most of it. I was there for most of what you were for the warm-up.
Yeah, I was in the middle. I think I caught 6 or 7 because I know I definitely caught a couple of the new album songs, which are all great. But then I had to, so I went my warm-up as diligent as possible while still being able to see a bit of the Gamma Bomb lads. But yeah, I knew you were there for the whole thing because I got all set up. It's 5 minutes to go. I was like,
Oh yeah, we were looking for you. Yeah.
I got to the point where I thought you bailed or literally forgot about the time.
But it's such a great like way to advertise that you have an album out, guys. So like having a sold out crowd in Dolan's like that to like let everybody know. Like, and I'd say that there'll be a lot of people who were at that gig who will be like convinced and like, you know, become fans because of it, you know.
I hope so. Because again,
so do I.
No, everyone down in Limerick that goes to the gigs are all savage. Where, you know, the amount that goes down there is great, and you have a chat to anyone down there, especially for the Siege when people are coming from all four corners. It's great. But it was a good opportunity for us to kind of, because we haven't gigged too much this year. We've only played 3 gigs, the 2 gigs in Dolan's, and in 2023, the 2 gigs in Dolan's, I believe. And then we played Templemore Metal Fest in summer as well. And it was just purely because we know how long the album was delayed, like from us recording it. It was just all we wanted to focus on and just get it done, because we knew, we basically said, no, it cannot be 2024. It has to be before that. Otherwise, we just be kicking ourselves and kicking the can down the road even further. So, and then when we do book a gig, it's always like, no, we're not going to record. We want to give ourselves the 2 or 3 weeks to kind of get back into rehearsal and proper gigging stamina, otherwise we fecked. So
yeah. And what about it, you, Matt? Was it nice to be on stage again, playing the fucking guitar, looking out at the crowd?
It was nice to be on the upstairs stage for a change as well, because the last time we played Eccentrics, like in the warehouse stage, it's very reverby in that room. It's hard to hear your guitar back. So it was nice to play upstairs again. It's a good change. I've never played in the downstairs one though, ever.
Yeah.
On the tiny one.
The tiny one, I've never played on that one.
Yeah,
That's
no,
Casbah,
I've never played that either. Yeah.
There's always a good sound down there as well, to be fair.
I think we just seen a bit of Horrendous set there, and then we came back up.
Brilliant, yeah.
Horrendous keep getting better and better. Like ourselves, I think they've been going a good while now, I know. But every time I hear them release something, like black metal wouldn't be one of me go-to genres, but every song they release, I think I like it more and more. So to see them doing everything they're doing too is savage.
Yeah. And Joe, like the last time he played Dolan's, or have you ever played Dolan's?
Played Dolan's with me and Alan's cover band about 6 or 7 years ago down in the Casbah downstairs. Oh, but that was the first time Gambom ever played in Limerick there at Siege, so it was great.
Yeah, and you got a really, fantastic reaction, man. I mean,
it was good. A crack, and like thanks to yourself for playing the Monster as well. Like, you know.
Yes, I did. I did that cameo. Came on stage.
That was you, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I didn't fall over any leads or fucking. Yeah. I made it through, And considering the condition I was in as well, like, I mean, I wasn't exactly staving myself of alcohol.
So, lads, so for the unfamiliar, tell us a wee bit about the history of Crossfire. How did you get together then? Because you've had a relatively stable lineup, really, haven't you?
Which is unusual.
About fucking 11 years ago. I bumped into Kev and our old guitarist Tracy at a gaff party, and we hit it off from the get go. It was just cheap cans and thrash, and they're both guitarists. I played bass, so we decided we'd start jamming together. We didn't know a drummer, so we were just sitting in a bedroom jamming Black Sabbath and Megadeth and stuff. And Kev had a few bits of songs ready to go, and we started throwing something together. And we had Dale come in and do drums temporarily for a while. He wasn't, I don't think he was really into it. He didn't have a drum kit around. He wasn't a drummer. He fancied giving it a try.
Yep.
And then that's where Dan came barrel rolling into our lives with a completely different beast. Yeah. Fucking, it was like chalk and cheese. Dale was very light or something, and Dan was like a fucking stick of dynamite going off beside your head.
I think you mean Dale was very technical, as in very good fundamentals, and I was able to hit the drums hard to compensate at the time, at least.
Yeah.
And what about Mark? So that was after
Matt.
Jesus, my apologies.
Sorry, I get people's names wrong as well. 2014, I think it was. Was that it, lads?
Give or take, yeah.
I think it was
in and around then, yeah.
I think my first gig with Crossfire was the Siege.
The first
Siege
time we
Limerick,
played
yeah,
the
it was,
Siege.
yeah.
The first time I played with them was the Siege in 2014.
We opened the warehouse at like
Yeah.
12:30, 1 o'clock, and
Yeah.
because you hadn't even had the whole set learned at the time, so there was some
No.
questionable covers thrown in.
I almost missed the bus as well. Remember you were on the back of the bus and I almost missed it to Limerick.
That sounds
No,
about
I
right.
can't remember that, yeah.
Getting the bus on Westmoreland Street, was it? Or
Yeah.
Blair Street?
Yeah.
Those are the days where you had enough money for bus fare, and that's like that first
And a
Siege.
few
I remember
cans.
anyway. We had to leave at like 4 o'clock that day as well, because the money for bus fare to stay, maybe have 1 or 2 drinks or a can if any was going, and then like we went home because we just didn't have any cash to stay or anything.
Jesus,
The
yeah.
day when we used to fill the guitar bag with beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's down to a personality thing as well with a band like yourselves. I'd say, you know, it's just a good vibe in the end, really, when you're together this length of time, you know.
Yeah, I think that the four of us, we work well together, but we can also, I think, and a very important thing is they have a bit of fucking crack with each other as well. You know, if you're 4 people, they're just constant loggerheads, and yeah, I don't know, you need to be able to have a bit of crack.
We wouldn't have stayed together as long if it weren't for that. Like, even though, because we I think we have been slower than we'd like with kind of our progression, because like I always tell this to people, and it's like, you're going for over 10 years now. It's like, yes, but like we'll be the first to admit those first 3, 4, 5, 6 years we didn't take it seriously. We love drinking. Well, we were a drinking band with a thrash metal problem or something like that. So, but I vividly remember there was like almost like a light bulb going off around about 2018-ish, where we said, nah, fuck it, we're gonna do this, let's take it seriously, we'll have our crack like after the gig is done or a night during the week or something like that, but we're gonna take, you know, the actual performing, the songwriting, all of that properly. And I think since then, like, that's what I say, it's a different band, and I think that's why we did so well, and we had such good momentum kind of, I think, since 2019 onwards. Obviously there's been a stopgap in the middle, but it's continued on.
You can kind of judge that by the supports you were landing when you did take it seriously, I suppose, lads.
100%.
Yeah, once we did stop acting the maggot, yeah, we started getting better support slots, and yeah. So it just shows you, if you do take it a bit seriously, you do get somewhere.
I think it was in 2019 alone, we were able to, luckily H gave us a chance on a DME gig. We supported Law Society, I believe, and then that was in March. He had us back then in October to support
with
Exorder.
Gamma Bomb.
We played with Gamma Bomb, I think, on various points of the bill.
2 or 3 times at least, yeah.
But I think that was in 2019 as well. Yeah, I think in all that year it was at least Law Society, Gamma Bomb, and Exorder.
Oh,
yeah.
Exorder. Wow.
I think the Gamma Bomb one was downstairs in Flippers, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was us, Animator, Gamma Bomb, obviously, and one of Twisted Autocracy's last gig as well. So when you're talking about an Irish trash lineup, it doesn't get much better than that.
Jesus.
I'd forgotten they played, yeah.
So how important, guys, was it then at that kind of stage when you did start taking things a bit more seriously 10 years ago, that you were all kind of listening to the same bands? Was there arguments about death metal influences, or were you all like kind of singing from the same hymn sheet?
Well, Dan keeps trying to throw in blast beats every now and again. They're not landing that.
No, I'd say the 4 of us have basically the same influences, but with a few added extra bits each.
I think for this first album, at least, as in, again, we all listen to like a load of different stuff, and I will try and throw in an odd time signature and a bit of proggy stuff here, and CJ tell me to fuck off. CJ, if the more speed metal it sounds, the better. But in general, I think we have, but at least for this album, like, we had a good idea and a good impression of what we want the Crossfire Thrash sound to be, basically, and what influences that's going to draw from. And then, you know, when it comes to picking songs and writing songs for album number 2, some of that might change, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Cool.
Yeah. It's more organically then, lads. Like, there's no meetings about what musical direction you're going in or anything like that, or not necessarily pushing the boundaries of the band. Like, it's just a natural evolution as such then, really, is it?
Natural progression to progressive trash.
And Kev isn't here, obviously, but like we should acknowledge that when it comes to the kind of the riffs and the meat and potatoes of the songs, he'll account for 80-90% of that.
Yeah.
But,
he is the fucking man. He is the fucking man.
the riff master general, as we call him.
Okay, so we're gonna play the first single off the new album, Switch to Reset, and talk about that then. Fucking class, lads. Wormhole Death Records. Shout out to Carlo Bellotti. I think that's his name. He came on the podcast there around a year and a half ago. A lovely guy over in Italy. How did they get interested in Crossfire?
I think it was actually the guy that we had mix and master the album had found us on YouTube. I think it was the single we did, the single version of Who Goes There back in 2016. I think he'd found that and he reached out to us. He obviously has a working relationship with Wormhole, and he said he'd love to work with us more. And he said that he'd sent it to Wormhole, and they were interested as well. So that's how they got in touch with us.
Okay.
Just puts things in context. That was in late 2019 when we began that kind of conversation with Wormhole.
Yeah. They've been sniffing around a few Irish bands, Wormhole Death Records. It's good to see that, you know.
We are talking to one at the Siege who I believe that they're releasing their next release with Wormhole. I don't want to say just because I don't know if it's been announced now or if it'll be announced by the time this has come out. But they must like something over here.
Well, I think he said to us that he lived over here at one stage, didn't he?
Correct.
That's what it was. Yeah.
He's a family member over here as well. So, yeah, he's a nice guy, man. Very passionate. You need people like that. But he's a realist as well.
But it's great to see, you know, another Irish band getting signed to an international label, because if you kind of think about it, there's actually a lot of the other bands like Animator and Psychosis and Snowblind have probably been going longer than you guys, you know. But it seems like you guys have more of a fire lit under your arse than they have, you know.
I mean, they've all been going for a while, and we'd still almost look up to them in a way, kind of, and we've been seeing them as long as we've been going. That they're all savage, but I don't know. Because we were I don't even know we were immediately dead set on signing with Wormhole and how successful it would be, etc. But the one thing we always said is and there might have been varying degrees of success along the way, but you know, we've played the likes of Dublin, Cork, Limerick, Belfast, Galway, etc. And I'd wager that a lot, or maybe most metal fans in Ireland at least maybe have heard the name of Crossfire in passing, even if they haven't seen us or listened to our music, etc. We want Switch to Reset to hopefully be the launching pad, or at least give us the opportunity, the chance to take that elsewhere, and whether that be how many shows that will result in across the water in Europe or anything like that. We want as many people as possible to hear this music, and then we'll let the chips lie where they may.
Yeah. Would you agree with that, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Dan seems to articulate things way better than I can, so I just kind of stay in the background. and let the
No,
people
well,
talk.
I'm
Matt,
not
everyone's
leaving
here
in the
from you.
background, Dan. I won't leave him in the background, Dan. You won't be left behind, Matt. But yeah, it is great, Joe, to have bands on, especially Irish metal bands on a record label. Like you probably would be a bit cynical a lot of the times when you hear these things, you know, these announcements, you know, with Gamma Bomb's history as well. But in general, it's a good experience to get your music out there these days. Would you say, Joe, to have someone pushing behind you that way?
Yeah, absolutely. Because really, all you want to do is try and have more people who think that your band are great, who want to help you, you know, and be the producers or labels or anything like that. You know, as long as they believe in the band, that's the important thing. You know, I think what happened in the past with a lot of bands is that you end up signing to labels or working with people who aren't really that mad fussed on what you're doing, you know. So I think as long as they're enthusiastic, that's you know, just tell them to put their money where their mouth is and bring you over to Italy for some gigs.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Let's talk about the actual production of the album, lads. Who was behind it? There doesn't seem to be any credits being thrown out yet, but early days.
CJ, do you want to tell the story or will I? Because it's a wee bit of a long and winding route.
You go on and I'll chip in.
The original plan was, and the plan was, and we were so excited to go over to Italy, somewhere in Florence, I believe, in May of 2020 for 3 weeks with our digs paid for to record the album in the studio from Jonathan Mazzeo. He's the guy who mixed and mastered for us, and I think he did a cracking job. Yes. Of course, we all know what happened in 2020. Yeah. And then the problem was not even that initial lockdown, the grounded planes and all of that. It was the uncertainty, as in we were closing and then we were opening, we were closing, we were opening, same thing was happening in Italy and everywhere else. It got to the stage where like even practically when we were thinking about work schedule or stuff like that, the arrangements we had made to book 3 weeks off work and sort that out with paid leave and unpaid leave and all of that, it got to the stage where we couldn't wait anymore and we couldn't, there wasn't any way of making that work logistically. So we said, it was around about kind of, by late 2021, things are starting to get back to normal. We said, no, we're going to do this ourselves for the most part, as in we are lucky enough that Jonathan was still on board to mix and master. And we had an arrangement with him where we were able to call him on Skype or email him if we needed any tips regarding mic placements or what's the best DAW or the best thing to do in this DAW, etc. But for the most part, it meant that over kind of from pretty much a year from middle of 2022 to middle of 2023, it was just us chipping away at it bit by bit. We did the drums and track mix with Michael Richards, again, did a fantastic job. And then CJ, like, he'll tell you, pretty much all the instruments, apart from some extra guitars, were done in his garage. We built an isolation box, and that's why I love the sound. Because I think that we had a bit of that do-it-yourself attitude, but I still think it sounds better than that. It's a professional sound while still, again, literally being able to do it in a garage.
I think that's so great as well, guys, because like I think what you're effectively doing is like sidestepping loads of studio time, working with people who don't know the music as well as you do, and I think it's, if you can record all the guitars and bass and like a lot of the vocals yourselves and then send it to someone to mix, like you're gonna make life so much easier, and like it is definitely the right thing to do going into a studio, especially someone like Michael to do the drums. But like that was I think like because I listened back to your guys' previous recordings before listening to the album, and like one thing that struck me is the guitars have always sounded pretty good on the recording. So it was really like the drums and the vocals and the bass were really, really taking such a massive step forward in terms of how good the sound on the album,
Yeah.
Matto, do you
have to say it was...
I was going to say, if Matto wants to talk about the guitar tone, because like I agree, him and Kev seem to always be locked in the exact sound they want, and it's always killer.
Well, I think the original guitar tone for the EP in 2018, that was from what was the Mac program that had
GarageBand?
Yeah, GarageBand. I think they were like guitar plugins on GarageBand for that.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
There wasn't really much put onto it, as far as I can remember doing it with Gav.
Did he not have a an amp mic'd up out in Derek's. I thought he had an amp mic'd up.
I think we had one little small like micro cube amp or a Randall, a Roland. We had we mixed that sound with computerized amp.
This is
Oh,
Gavin
for fuck's sake.
Doyle, is it, of Axel Symmetry? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah. But that was the sound I think basically for the rhythm guitars, and then I just did my solo with the same sound. Well, slightly different.
All right.
And I don't know what Kev did for his solo sound. Probably something similar, but just changed up.
Connor, the bass sounds pretty monstrous on the album.
Yeah.
So was there a conscious decision to be like, right, let's add more distortion, let's get more growly, or what?
Yeah, I during COVID, because I had I was getting paid during COVID, and there was no pubs to go to, so I had an awful lot of money that was burning a hole in my pocket. So I invested in a heap of dark glass equipment, the dark glass distortion pedals and a Mesa Boogie, and it was just fucking like a match made in heaven, man. Holy fuck! So yeah, I've always wanted. It was the distortion tone that I was looking for years. I could never quite get it, or I could never quite afford those fucking pedals. But that's the one good thing that came out of COVID was a heap of equipment.
Yeah, it sounds great. It's such a step up. It really has a kind of the best of a kind of Cliff Burton and Lemmy type growl about it. It's great.
We also had like Kev's Mesa Boogie for his Mark V for the rhythm guitars during this. Yeah, so that was good. That was good to have. And then we used
both of us bought Mesa Boogies during COVID. Yeah.
There's so much how they were drinking.
And then we used the EVH 5150 for the solos.
Cool.
Yeah, but we should give a shout out to. Sorry, I was just saying we should give a shout out to Troubadour rehearsal studios where we practice as well. But we were able to. That's where we did all the solo guitars, I believe, and the vocals using what case was it? But it's basically like an old amp case or a mini fridge type thing.
It was a Gator case.
Yes,
one of those semi-solid Gator cases for the amp.
And we put the microphone in there for some sort of isolation or whatever you would call it.
It's so stupid. Oh god.
Yeah, but I mean, you learn from your mistakes. But I think going forward now for the next release, lads, what you've learned over the last 3 or 4 years, and the technology is out. It's just you need one or two of you to embrace it and lead the others through. I mean, I was talking to Saint Slaughter about the same. I mean, Jeff is doing all their recording and producing and mastering as well, I think. So I mean, it's fantastic to see, Joe, isn't it, bands doing it that way? It's old school and it's fucking independent, but I mean, the results could be varied, but I mean, if you've got a good guy then to mix and master it, and as you said, you got Michael in to do the drums, that was a great decision, lads.
Born out of necessity. It was kind of, without being too over dramatic about it, it's like back against the wall, but it's like the album was supposed to be out again. In a perfect world, it would have been out at the end of 2020. It's now 3 years later. It was because it was like, no, we're not waiting anymore. And even with like our patchy release history at best, is in like just not being able to, or not choosing to record as much or as well as we had in the past. And it's another reason why, because one person asked me, we were doing an interview last week, and someone asked, why is there 4 songs that were released years ago on the album? It's a fair question, and it's something we discussed as well. And it's basically like, because we hate our original recordings, and bands always say that, and people say, but no, they are what they are, and they're a time capsule and this and that, and it's like, that's a good point, but for this album, fair dues. But maybe, but this album, we just said, no, we're going to pick our best 8 songs because this is the album that we want everywhere. People who have never heard of us before, we want them here in the best 8 songs. It means not only do they get that, but again, some of our favorite songs that we had recorded already, we're hopefully giving them the treatment they deserve.
Yeah, I mean, what song? When I first heard you, and I just fucking couldn't believe what you've done to it since, is Who Goes There. That came out in 2018. That was the first time I heard of you, and I've picked it now to play night and day as fucking. And I think it's still, it will change, but at the moment, That is still my favorite track of the album, and one or two more, but anyway, we'll play Who Goes There. That's great stuff. Themes of the album, are you a bit like Gamma Bomb? Love your horror movies and stuff, or?
Yeah, I do. And it's not like we set out to intentionally keep writing songs about horror movies. It just fucking happens. You know, it's just
Did any of you read the because I guess the song's about the Thing, isn't it? Like, you know, the John Carpenter one. Did you read the original, the story, Who Goes There, or any of that sort of stuff? It's pretty good.
I have it there, John C. Campbell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it there behind me.
Class. Happy days, yeah.
Players, huh?
There you go. But no, I think it's such a cool song, and like I'm sure as Richie was going to say, they're like the evolution of the songs from the demos, like this and the Evil Dead song and stuff. You could really, really hear massive markup from everybody. But like, you know, I think part of that as well is just maturity, having played the tunes for years and gotten better and better at doing it, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, definitely. Like we're not the same players that we were when we recorded Bound and Skin. It's just night and day.
I think you can even see that in like, so obviously the songs in the album aren't in sequence when they're written, of course, but like we look at a song like Coercion, which is the first song or the first proper Crossfire song that was written, and again it's one of the shorter tracks, and it's, you know, that there's still different sections in there, but you know it's more of kind of a straightforward banger. And then you look at the later songs are written, the likes of Turn to Stone, which is the closest we have to a ballad, or not a ballad, but or you know Prometheus, the long instrument, singing, or like Prometheus, the most recent, which is like a long instrument. So it's cool for me to like have all those 8 tracks there and just see the progression in our songwriting as well. Like it still hasn't been perfected by any means, but it's cool to look back on.
And again, just going back to the themes of the album, lyrically wise, who was responsible for that? Would that be Kev or?
Myself and Kev.
Mostly.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Go on, Conor. Do you want to expand on that?
Coercion's about bullying, isn't it? Coercion, the lyrics are about bullying.
Yeah, that was all Kev. I think the way I usually write lyrics, I'd be watching a movie or something, I'd be half cut and I'd just start scribbling on a notepad, and the next morning I'll go back to it and I'll look at it for weeks and weeks. I'll be adding bits and cutting bits out, and I don't know. For Switch to Reset, I was looking at those lyrics for fucking months, and it was just pages and pages, like A4 pages of lyrics, and I didn't know what to do with them. Kev kept saying to me, he's like, "Oh, come on, hurry up!" And one day I was like, oh, fuck this, I can't do anything with them. I just sent him, was like, dude, half that's fucking unusable. And like he rang me back like 5 minutes later. I was like, dude, here's your chorus. That's your first verse. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, I've been staring at those pages for months. I couldn't figure it, trying to structure everything. I don't know. He's very quick.
Sometimes you have to change the way it's sung because it's written around the chord progression. So sometimes he'll write something and then Kev will have to change it around because it doesn't go with the riff. And like,
but he's very quick at doing it as well. He's really, really good at doing that.
I just love the fact that nothing's changed. Like, I think our most recent song, or it's a song that we debuted down in Templemore in early August, I think it was. We played it again since. CJ still hasn't finished the lyrics.
Yeah.
For months now. And they're really good lyrics as well. The chorus is really catchy. The theme is pretty cool. I don't think we'll say what it's about just in case we decide to change it before recording or anything like that.
Oh, we're not changing it.
Okay.
I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. It's strange in bands, Joe. I mean, you go through it as well, but Gamma Bomb there, you'll come to the table with lyrical ideas, Philly will have his, and it's just trying to fit it into the song,
Yeah, and like my experience is, you're never going to be able to like persuade someone to do it exactly the way that you want to do it. Like especially with singing and stuff. Yeah. So like we used to get like pretty uppity, like if somebody would reject your lyrics or they didn't like think they were good enough. But at the end of the day, it has to be something that the singer's comfortable singing. It's the same as if you make too much comments on solos saying, "Oh, that's too bendy, this bit here." Like people are just going to dig in and say, "No, fuck you." Look, so
yeah. You're
better off just trying to let people have a bit more breathing room. But yeah, like I think it's great though that you guys, like Conor and CJ, you are both, Conor and the singer, you are both kind of able to do that, because there's a lot of bands like that, like Anthrax. Charlie Benante writes all the music and Scott Ian writes all the lyrics, and that's the way that they've been doing it for 30 years. So
yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm glad you actually brought up Anthrax. What do you think of today's thrash metal scene, lads? Like, do you enjoy new records by thrash bands, or like do you prefer the classic releases?
The classics.
Yeah.
I think the modern stuff is watered down, diluted, fucking just them throwing out stuff for record sales, I think. I feel like
you mean the old bands recording
the old bands anyway. No, I do like a lot of modern bands, but yeah, I don't think you're ever going to beat those the classics, for me anyway.
Yeah,
it's funny, a band actually I saw in your influences that really stuck out when I was listening to your album was Heathen. I thought some of the stuff in your record sounded actually a bit like Evolution of Chaos and that kind of more recent Heathen stuff, which is like pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I love Heathen, man. Jesus Christ, they're ridiculously underrated band. No, you won't. No, it's criminally underrated. That album is. It's shocking.
Yeah.
So there's obviously lots of Lizzie. I think that's just part of being Irish, isn't it? Like, it's like if you're in Ireland and you like drinking and listen to Thin Lizzy, you're going to want to have those kind of guitar parts in the songs.
The harmonies,
especially sometimes whenever you're listening to something like Prometheus, like you're like, oh, this bit's very like Orion, but like it's actually not. It's just like, exactly what Metallica were doing, which was like half inch in a Thin Lizzy bit, so it is cool seeing that kind of stuff.
All that Lizzie is Kev, though, in fairness to him. Like, he has half his arm covered with Phil in it. And we all love a bit of Lizzie, but I don't know how much we'd be there if it weren't for him. But, like, I remember it was great how we played our first show outside of Ireland in Edinburgh at the start of 2020. And it just so happened, like, me and Kev, we're cousins, and we had family over there, and his dad happened to be on a trip over there, so we said, fuck it, for a bit of a laugh, knowing that they're going to be there, we just said we're going to learn Jailbreak and we're going to play it in Edinburgh, and it's going to be good fun, and we're back into the thrash stuff. So when I think of Lizzie and Crossfire, that's the first story that comes to mind.
But like, what about family members? Like, what do they think of your music career as such? Like, I mean, you are building up to an album launch. Like, do they like maybe just go individually around there? Is there like talks at the kitchen table going, will you ever?
I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of awkward people standing in the front that's family members looking at us mosh. It's like you don't do that at home.
Like I'm sure is it a discussion that comes up with partners or family members like that? This is what we fucking strove for, put our fucking blood, sweat, and tears into. It's coming out now. Like, and do they actually take it seriously? Like,
I think at this stage, because I still live with my parents, you know, fucking, I'm 30 years old, Dublin, you know, I'm not getting a house anytime soon. But I think it's just like, yeah, I've been doing it so long, it's just like, yeah, just keep fucking going. That's it, you know. It's it's just, yeah.
They support us from a distance. Is it kind of like they're all very supportive, and you know, again, as I said, we recorded most of the album in the garage around a load of Conor's dad's tools and stuff like that, and making room and making noise. But I think a couple of them might be going into the album launch. But one that they've been asked already, they're going to be one of the tables at the back reserve for me. Right? It's like, well, the merch has to go there. So I don't know.
we're all of us metalheads. We're all self-aware of how metal sounds to people who don't listen to it. You have to be self-aware, and like I can't imagine what they think listening to death metal.
Yeah,
you must think those people are crazy.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Jesus, like, I mean, when you think of it as well, like when you all picked up instruments, every one of you there, you had your idols, people you looked up to and stuff. What about now? Is there any idols left for you? I'll ask that to all of you. It's not many, is there? Lemmy's gone, fucking Ozzy may as well be.
Hanging on. Rob Halford, I'm a massive Judas Priest fan. Yeah, fucking, he's still
relevant. Yes, that's very good.
Yeah. Have you listened to the new tracks?
Not yet. Yep. I'm looking forward to it though.
Yeah, they're all right. Yeah.
Dan, have you listened to Trial by Fire?
Nah.
It's got a 6/8 bit in it though.
6/8's nothing.
It is for Judas Priest.
I loved their last release anyway, put it that way. I loved it. Like
Firepower was deadly. Yeah, fucking deadly. There was a few really, really good songs off that album.
Yes. Yeah. Joe, any idols left for you?
I think there's still enough bands out there, kind of like of the old school thrash, that again with some, you know, varying degrees of original members, but are
would you still look up to Hetfield and Metallica, for example?
Of course, yeah. Like, you know, they set the bar. They you know, I saw Metallica at Slane, and then I went when they played here last, and then by chance ended up seeing them a week later in Manchester, and even 72 Seasons, the last one, like, you know, modern day Metallica is modern day Metallica, but if they put out a new album out, and even if 5 out of the 12 songs are songs I'll go back to, I'm happy out with that, and you know, they still seem to. But then you have as well the likes of, we went to Eindhoven, all the way to Eindhoven to see Toxic there for the first time.
Toxic, yeah.
And it was a great trip. And then seeing Eden last year or 2 years ago with Bloodstock, when I never thought I was going to be able to see Eden. So, you know.
I met them in the fucking signing tent, and I was like a fucking 10-year-old girl I was. Holy fuck, it was deadly. Holy Jesus. It's fucking the lads from Eden. It was seriously fucking cool.
Yeah. So there's still a few out there, isn't there, Joe?
Yeah, well, like, you know, it's a weird one. Funny enough, we met McGowan and Spider from the Pogues. In 2009 at Holyhead Port, and like we were going over and doing like gigs in England. Actually, it must have been before that. Must have been about 2006 or 7, because we were still like getting the sail rail over to England and doing gigs and sleeping on floors and then going back. But we met them at the ferry, and that's what he said. He said the only bands who've ever done anything, who've ever come out of Ireland, all did it getting the Holyhead ferry and going and doing gigs over here. Like, so. And that was something that like we always sort of remembered, being all like, right, this is what we're going to have to do to try and get the name out there, like, you know, or out of Ireland anyway, you know.
Yeah. What I like about the album as well is, and we've mentioned it and Joe's mentioned it, is the addition of an instrumental into the, like every thrash band more or less has an instrumental on their album, and this is Prometheus. How did was there that was probably a combination of 2 or 3 different songs, was it, lads, or did you go?
No, it was from the get-go. We decided we were going to do an instrumental because we've been talking about it for years, but I don't know if we were too confident. Because if you do an instrumental, it has to be fucking good. You know, the music has to be absolutely bulletproof, because you don't have vocals or lyrics or anything to sort of support it. It has to stand alone.
Yeah.
I think we were putting it off for a long time because we weren't too sure whether we could pull it off or not.
I think it's the one good thing to come out of COVID, because I'm sure we had ideas of the song there before lockdown and everything like that, but the way I'm remembering, at least anyway, it wasn't until we were locked down we couldn't practice together. But then, you know, we might be able to practice for a couple of weeks and then it shut down again. And so it was just a case of over that year chipping away at it, whether it be Kev sending over riffs to me, and then when we get into a practice room, we'll hash out a couple of minutes. And, you know, our song, you know, it was very difficult because normally when we do our song, Ryan, we want at least me and Kev, or if not the four of us, to be in the same room, going over riffs, seeing what fits in with what. So I think Prometheus was the result of just however long it was, a year of chipping away and kind of perfecting it where it could. And yeah, it just so happened that we got it done. And I don't think, we always said it'd be cool if it would go over 10 minutes. I don't think I was ever like, you know, a hard rule. And if anything, was like, no, let's not take the piss here, lads. But then we loved the intro. Like Maddo, I think, did most of the bulk work for the intro and the outro, which I think are both amazing. And I was like, no, fuck, it's all going in there, and so be it. And I love how it turns out. Again, not a 10 and a half minute instrumental isn't going to be for everyone, but it's like, sure, look, it's our first album, let's put it at the end of it and be proud of it. And yeah, I think it turned out really well.
Yeah,
excellent. I'm going to play an extract from it, lads. A section that I pretty much enjoyed. And Matt, apologies, it's not the intro.
All right. It's all good.
Lads, fantastic musicianship on show there. Congratulations on that fucking instrumentals. Excellent.
Cheers,
Richie.
It took us long enough to write and record, but yeah, no, I love it.
That's I usually
it was my
save...
solo at the start.
Yeah, exactly that. But I usually save that song towards the end of my gym workout, and that's fucks me up near the end, you know. So, but Joe, I love, and you correctly pointed out there, Conor's crunching bass in that. It's really evident, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very good. Another thing kind of struck me listening to the record was how well you guys handle kind of clean parts and stuff in the songs. They always sound really inspired, and it has that kind of same testament-y type quality that their clean parts had, you know, which is great.
You're making me blush.
No, but you know, it's cool to be able to do that kind of other side of things so well, you know, because again, I think there's a lot of thrash bands who put those kind of parts in just because they kind of feel they have to, and it doesn't really sound as good. But like it sounds great, especially as you were saying on that more ballady song. Like it's like you can kind of see the songwriting going in a kind of new direction, I guess. Is it?
I think it's just having the diversity in the songs themselves and throughout the album. And again, the diversity in the album is probably, as I said, the kind of just the approach of, you know, we're picking our best 8 songs and laying them out in the best way possible, so from start to finish to get a good record. But yeah, and then it's just, I think, the way we write songs, and it's why we just, again, we could probably refine our songwriting a bit. Not every song has to be 6 or 7 or 8 minutes, but it's again because we want the diversity in the song. We love having the clean intro that goes into a crunching riff. We love having the solo section, but there's gonna be some sort of a bridge riff that has to be in the middle of the song there to get people's heads banging. So yeah, while we can definitely dot some I's and cross some T's here and there when it comes to refining things, I think that's where kind of, again, the likes of having all those clean bits in and melodic stuff comes in.
Yeah, it adds something to it. It really does.
The gradual progression into the newer progressive thrash sound that, you know, we love, like the Heathen, the Toxic, the Tantara. You know, we love that kind of thrash.
Yeah.
So considering then that it was such a slog really from 2019, like how are you getting on with the next one? Like is the next one in the oven, or what's going on?
We have the guts of the next one already written, and we've been dancing around the topic of starting to lay down the pre-production but there's no solid plan yet.
I think 2024 is all about getting Switch to as many people as we can, hopefully gigging as much as we can, hopefully outside of Ireland as well. While also we know, I'd say if we had to go into a studio and record an album tomorrow, we could probably lay half it down, and the other half is all kind of 75% finished songs or like really good ideas that need to be refined. But it won't be another 10 years before album 2 is out anyway. I've touch wood.
Yeah. You're okay. So you're with Wormhole Death, as we talked about. What distribution can they offer you? Are you going to go CDs, or which is I think Carlo likes that with a band, if it is anything physical. But I mean, obviously everybody's fucking got a horn for vinyl. What do you think yourselves?
Yeah, I think we're going CDs, but the problem with vinyl is there's a massive backlog at the moment. I think there's a 6-month waiting list in a lot of places for vinyl at the moment, which is absolutely fucking mental.
I think it'll probably be a conversation we have in between this being recorded and when it's released as well. But like we've gotten ourselves the limited batch of CDs anyway that will be sold at the album launch gig, and you know, God forbid not all of them been sold there. People can go and buy them at crossfiretrash.bandcamp.com. But
keep one for me, lads.
Absolutely.
Will do, Richie.
But I mean, look, we all love the album, you know, it's like you're buying an experience with that. You go to the record shop, you bring the record home, you look at the pictures, you look at what people tanked on it as well. Like, I mean, it's just frustrating that it's just not accessible to a lot of those bands that fucking want it, you know, and that's a pity. Like,
you can even see in the price in the shops. I started collecting vinyl, I think, only properly in no more than the last 5 years or so. My vinyl, I haven't got any in a while. My vinyl players actually isn't working, unfortunately. But like, I remember back then, I could get some of my favorite albums or a new album for 20 quid. I was in HMV on Henry Street there the other day, and if you're getting one for 30, that's a bargain. You know, for major labels, I think standard is going closer to 40 even, which is disheartening. Yeah,
ridiculous. Rich will tell you, whenever I went to uni in England in about 2001, and Rich will probably tell you again about 6 or 7 years earlier when he was in college, vinyl was so unpopular then that, like, I think I got every Anthrax album for 2 quid. Or, like, all the Led Zeppelin albums were 3 quid, or like everything was just for nothing. Like, you know, because music moves in circles like that, and one day it'll be unpopular again, I guess. Like, you know,
it's weird. Like, I'll still say that Metallica, as cliche as an answer, is my favorite thrash band. I have a load of great records there. I don't have one Metallica record. I cannot bring myself to spend €40 in the shops on the fucking remaster. I just won't. But there's Megadeth there, there's Slayer, I have Sea Savage there, but one day I'll finally fork and say, no, I need Master, I need Justice on vinyl. But
here's a plug for Lidl. Actually, what I picked up in Lidl 2 days ago was they've got 50 album sleeves for sale.
Yes, they do.
I picked them up.
Oh, the plastics, yeah.
Plastics, and I also picked up Dark Side of the Moon, the 50th
nice
remaster for $24. So
that's not bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah, but if you have vinyl, which I do, and I had a shitload of them without sleeves, I just couldn't fucking believe my luck when I was in Lidl. I was just going, what, 50 of them for whatever, 19 quid or something. So yeah.
Another problem is as well, given the fact that the album is pushing an hour long. We set ourselves like, these are long songs. We're not going over an hour under any circumstances. That's taking the piss for a first album, but it also means that you can't get a single LP done with the whole album. It has to be.
Yeah, it's like 22 and a half per side, isn't it?
Last I looked into, like, I think it was
22 and a half per side.
Last year, a Swedish band called Paranorm released an album called Empyrean, one of the best thrash albums I've heard in the last 10 years. Like,
that's fucking absolute banger. Yeah, it is dead.
But again, and I don't know if this just because I misread it or they didn't say it on their Bandcamp. I go and buy the vinyl and it's lovely. It's like a blood splatter red. It's missing the last 2 songs on the record because obviously they could only fit it on a single LP. Now I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt and saying they probably said in the fine print in the Bandcamp, and I was just a stupid cunt who didn't read it. But I'll go
with that one as well.
That's fairly shit.
That's another challenge to it.
You had no problem, Joe, with the Bats vinyl, had you, or any update on that?
Well, look, the lads are 100% right. 6 months is the delay time because it's kind of the wax that they make all the vinyls out of to make it in Malaysia, and it has to come through the Panama Canal or whatever, and like the sort of all that stuff's more expensive, and there's a big backlog basically. So yeah, it just takes longer. But I guess the good side of it is it means that you can spend more time sort of trying to work on promotional ideas, like doing videos or trying to do things to big up the record.
100%. I've even trying to learn how to use TikTok over the last 2 months to try and get any fans whatsoever.
Talk to Philly. He's a master of it.
Yeah, Billy has done some great ones. What was it? It was when you're from the north trying to talk to your English friend, and it's like all they can hear is
I just saw it
the
other day.
He does that kind of stuff for a job, so he's like, he just has the gift of the gab,
Yeah, like he signed with Unearthed Music management. So is that for promo purposes as well, or what?
It's everything. Like I think, did he reach out to us or we reached out to him? But we kind of went to him with the ideas. Again, kind of as Joe alluded to, one of your best paths to success is to get more of the following in the UK. We loved it at the time. We did a kind of DIY over right before COVID, and we want to do it again in 2024. That was a priority of us. So we got in touch with Neil, who is luckily now managing us and already doing a fantastic job. And he said, look, if all you want is a booking agent, I can talk to you about a booking agent, but he was able to offer so much more. And so we only signed with them a time recording, I think 2 or so weeks ago, and we're already starting to see the kind of fruits of that. So it should mean that again, all still TBC, but we'll be back in England and Scotland next year.
Okay, excellent stuff. It's good to have that back in, Joe, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's a benefit.
Go on ahead, sorry.
Oh no, you first.
I know, I was just going to say, again, just the idea of working with people who believe in the band, and it makes everything way easier. I want to ask you lads about the album cover, because it's quite a classic kind of thrash sort of. Who did it, or what's the story behind it?
It's so bad.
Not like it, no.
We call it Charmin.
Oh, are you looking at the new version or the old version?
I'm looking at the one that's on your socials at the minute.
Yeah. We got it commissioned in 2020, around about the time we're recording it, because Kev, I think it was either Kev or CJ, already had the idea. But the problem was, So we had to get it changed, and went back to him much later to get it changed, because after a year looking at it, I was like, no, this is actually taking the piss. Your man's face looked a lot more comical rather than terrified, and rather than wearing the kind of white gown that he's wearing now, he was wearing this plaid shirt. So it basically just looks like they kidnapped a bald lumberjacker and just strapped him in the chair, and
like brown corduroy trousers.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So I was like, yeah. Like at first we thought it's a little bit bad, but all great old school Thrash covers are a little bit bad, and I kind of went slowly from that to right now. This is taking the piss. Let's change it.
Yeah, because the one we were looking at, Joe, was the one on the lyrical video for
that's the new one.
That's
the fixed one.
and who did it? Was it an Italian artist, or where'd it come from?
I can't remember. Kev was in touch with your man. He'd done a few big Thrash album covers.
It's credited in the booklet. I can't remember the name myself, but apologies for not shouting them out.
It's so long ago.
But I know, and I do know a guy called, again, another Italian, keeping that relationship going, a guy called Andrea Mantelli did the lyric video, and we were blown away about that, because again, we didn't have like the assets, as in like kind of, we didn't have like a set idea for lyric videos, but we had the covers, like, sir, can you do something with this? Because, yeah, we should probably have a video to promote the lead single, and he was able to. He was able to do something great, which is what we gave him. Even like taking things like I was amazed when you see the lamp start to flicker, and
cool,
then your man picks up the phone. It's like, how's he done that?
Yeah,
it is mental, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's great. Okay, so that's it, lads. Joe, have you anything to add to it?
Just
best of luck.
I want to say, fucking congratulations, lads. You did a great job, and like obviously, you know, with COVID and stuff, it didn't make it easy. It would have been very easy, like a lot of other bands, to just down tools and, you know, wait for the right time, and, you know, the right time might never come. So good on you.
True, exactly.
It's been a while coming, but it's great to be here now.
Yeah, and I think, look, you're with a good record label as well, Wormhole. They know their fucking shit, man. So that's great news. It's all positive, lads. Be sure to say hello to Kev and tell him he missed out on a great podcast.
We'll chat again when hopefully we make our grand return to Cork at some stage.
Yes, looking forward.
That's been long coming. We were scheduled to play Cork the day before the country went into lockdown. Sweaty Freds. I think actually I think I might have been chatting to you, Richie, before, saying, we'll chat after it or something like that. Right, and this was literally like 2 days before everything went to shit.
It was spot on. It's the Trash Tour, wasn't it?
The Celtic Trash Tour, yeah. The ill-fated Celtic Trash Tour. God love the lads from Scotland coming over. They were on the flight over to play Dublin that night when Varadkar was shouting outside the White House. Only 100 people are allowed in a venue from now on. CJ goes running to Fibbers then on his lunch breaks, like, can we do this gig? It's like, I don't know.
Fucking hell.
Mad times.
Yeah, brilliant.
Good crack, though.
Yeah, so listen, Dan, Matt and Conor, congratulations on a fantastic release. It'll be out by the time this podcast comes out also. Best of luck with the launch, and as I said, from a Thrasher to many others there, you've certainly fulfilled all my riffs and given me untold pleasure listening to this album. And as I said, congratulations, and best of luck with the band in 2024, I suppose.
Cheers, Richie.
Thanks for everything, Richie, and thanks, Joe, for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, Joe.
Cheers,
Joe. Take it easy, boys.
Cheers, Joe.
Lads. And crucially, support your local thrash scene.
Absolutely.
Yes.